The EU AML package is not just a legal update. For banks, it changes how detection has to be evidenced. The old pattern was fragmented, one group policy, but different local interpretations, different data requests from different supervisors, different views of the same customer risk. AMLR changes that baseline. It applies from July 10th, 2027. The practical point is not only the date. The practical point is harmonization. Your controls need to work consistently across the group, but your data will not be consistent by itself. That is where implementation becomes painful. Policy says customer due diligence. Systems need fields, values, owners, and refresh triggers. If beneficial ownership changes, who knows first? The onboarding tool, the core bank, or monitoring. If they disagree, your control is already weak. AMLA is the second change. Direct supervision starts in 2028. The first selected entities are expected in 2027. AMLA's public timeline says 40 obliged entities. For high-risk cross-border groups, supervision becomes group-wide. Even if you are not selected, the pressure still moves. National supervisors will compare against a common EU model. So local exceptions need evidence, not just tradition. A country-specific scenario can survive. An undocumented country-specific scenario will not. The new risk assessment logic matters. AMLA's draft, RTS, uses inherent risk and control effectiveness. Those two combine into residual risk. That sounds simple. In practice, it is a data lineage exercise. You need to show why the score changed. A subtle challenge is control effectiveness. It is no longer just a paragraph in a risk assessment. It becomes a measurable input. Alert quality, backlog, overdue reviews, tuning evidence, these start to affect the residual risk scoring. Another hidden issue is customer due diligence data. The new rulebook pushes a more consistent EU information set, but collection is not the hard part. The hard part is making the data usable. Screening, monitoring, risk scoring, and SAR decisions all need the same facts in the same meaning. Take occupation, expected activity, and source of funds. In many banks, these fields exist, but analysts do not fully trust them. Values are free text, stale, or mapped differently. A scenario built on weak reference data creates noise. Transaction monitoring then becomes a governance problem. If you change thresholds for one market, why? Is it product risk, customer mix, typology, or data quality? If the answer is only analyst workload, that is weak. Workload explains the pain, not the risk decision. False positives will get worse if you just add rules. The better approach is scenario rationalization. Remove duplicate logic. Link each scenario to a risk driver. Define the data fields, thresholds, windows, and exclusions. Then test what changes before production. The deadline trap is real. 2027 looks far away on paper, but data cleanup, model validation, and group rollout are slow. The hardest defects appear in migration. Old customer categories do not map cleanly. Historic alerts cannot be recreated. Evidence is stored outside the system. My practical advice is to start with one end-to-end control. Choose customer risk scoring or one monitoring scenario. Map law to policy. Map policy to data. Map data to system logic. Map logic to evidence. If one chain breaks, fix that before expanding. The institutions that handle this well will not have the longest policies. They will be the ones that can explain their controls consistently across entities with data to prove it. That is the real AML package challenge. Not reading the regulation, operationalizing it.